What he is proposing at this point would be the most flagrant violation of our Constitution in the 21st century. The city of Chicago does not need a military occupation. That's not what we need. In fact, we've been very clear about what we need. We need to invest in people to ensure that we can build safe and affordable communities. That's what I've done as mayor since assuming office.
Hold on, pause. This is what they always do, right? No, if they just had more Section 8 and an after-school basketball program, the record murder wouldn't be a problem. That's all you need. You just need a rec center. Keep playing.
That this president is working overtime to divide in his attempt to conquer working families and to conquer cities across America.
Bro, your city is getting conquered by like illegal aliens and criminals, and then you're trying to blame the guy who wants to solve this, like Donald Trump wants to stop this, and then he is suddenly the bad guy? Excuse me, sir, but you are 100% responsible for the destruction of Chicago, not Donald Trump. He wants to solve it.
This is clearly a violation of the Constitution, and we're going to remain firm and vigilant in our commitment to ensure that our democracy is protected and our humanity is secured.
So before I even get to the truth, just remember, I've always told you this. Whenever the left invokes the Constitution, you know they're lying to you. There are very few pieces of paper on earth they hate more than the original Constitution. Here's the truth. It's actually completely unconstitutional to defy federal policy by claiming to be a sanctuary city. That is actually unconstitutional because it's a matter of national security and you're putting your citizens at risk. But here's another truth, is that President Trump does have the authority to deploy the National Guard. Per Title 10 of federal law, the president shall take such measures as he considers necessary to suppress in a state any domestic violence if it so hinders the execution of the laws of that state, that any part or class of its people is deprived of a right, privilege, immunity, or protection named in the Constitution, and the constituted authorities of that state are unable, fail, or refuse to protect that.
So I will pause the video here so you can also read it. And this is very important because the mayor of Chicago is saying that Donald Trump is not respecting the democracy. Meanwhile, he is the one who is not respecting it. So it's very funny that this guy's blaming someone else of something what he is doing himself. That's kind of ridiculous, right? Shows also how these people think and how they act. No wonder Chicago looks like this, by the way.
Right. So the president can technically do this over any state objection, but I think there would be a very valid case to be made if you declare yourself a sanctuary city after 20 million illegal aliens have either crossed the border or overstayed their visas, making it the number one issue in an election and the reason that this man was given a mandate as president. Right? I think, in other words, hey, would people saying we need to do something about immigration, right? It's affecting all of us. And then Chicago being a sanctuary city, would that qualify as any part or class of its people being deprived of a right, privilege, immunity, or protection named in the Constitution? Or would the authorities of that state be considered unable to have failed or refused to protect that right, of legal citizens, to not foot the bill to the tune of $150 to $450 billion a year? That's what it costs the taxpayers, illegal aliens, not to mention rampant crime, not to mention competing for jobs with third world labor. Yeah, there's a reason that it's federal policy. There's a reason Donald Trump was elected. And Chicago has said, no. Because in the name of democracy, as a mayor, I'm going to determine that your number one voting issue doesn't matter. Sanctuary city.
100%.
All right, there we go.
That one seems pretty cut and dry to me.
Here's the next claim, and this one's really easy to refute because the left can't help themselves. They say, violent crime is actually down in Chicago.
Here's what we're doing in Chicago. The fact of the matter is violent crime is actually down in Chicago. We've reduced homicides by almost 32%. Shootings and shooting victims, we've reduced that by nearly 40%. Robberies are down 35%. There's certainly more work to be done, but
Wrong.
We are moving towards building the safest, most affordable big city in America. And what the Trump administration is attempting to do is to roll back the hands of time and take us to a time period in which we know from the civil rights era where Dr. King described this type of act as one of the three evils.
Well, here's the thing. Here's where we agree. He does want to.
He just mentioned that he wanted to make from Chicago the safest place in America. Isn't this funny already on itself? And even if you reduce the crime rates with 20%, 30%, what he just said, Chicago still is dangerous as F. Seriously, like, I think seriously maybe like Chicago is even more dangerous than like places in Mexico, places in Guatemala, things like that. And this guy is acting like, no, it's all fine. We reduced it with 20%, 30%. So what? So what? Like, you have to... That says nothing. Like, Chicago is such a shithole at this moment. Even if when you reduce it with 90%, it's still like way too high, the crime numbers. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, being proud of reducing your crimes with 30% after your crimes almost raised with like 500% in the past 5 years. Come on.
You back in time, but not to pre-civil rights, which, by the way, you know, was largely passed by Republicans. Because here's the truth. President Trump and your citizens want to take you back to a magical time of pre-COVID, where the violent crime rates weren't astronomically high, because the violent crime rate is still up from pre-COVID levels. Rape is up, robbery is up, assault is up.
Here, this is what I mean. And quick, I will pause it quickly, but look at this. This is exactly what I mean. He's acting like, oh, we solved the problem. No, you didn't. It's all up still by today. So nothing has been solved. Like, it only became worse.
Just to be clear, he's citing year-over-year numbers, which you can do anywhere because we saw such a spike in crime, right? That's the trick they pull. Go check the references. Other crimes, by the way, are still up even after COVID. So they spiked to 2021, and most places they came back down. But these crimes are still up since post-COVID records. Misdemeanor theft up 67%. Since 2021. Felony theft, up 46%.
Wow.
Vehicle theft, up 75%.
Just look at this. Like, this is exactly what I mean. Like, up 67% compared to 2021. Felony, 46%, higher than in 2021. Motor vehicle theft, up 75% since 2021. This is like 4 years ago, and it's almost up by 100%. And then this guy is acting like, oh, we're solving the problem by reducing it 20%. No, dude, it's up almost 100% in 5 years' time. Like, ridiculous.
And that's after a hockey stick graph of it going up in 2020. And some Chicago police officers, by the way, have been getting creative. They have to. They found new ways to lower crime in the Windy City. Well, you know.
Hey, that'll work.
Yeah.
Yes, you did that, by the way. Now, look, we've talked about the crime numbers. People will say, where's the level of acceptability?
Right.
That's the argument here right now. And I think that's a vital conversation. We had it a lot with DC because their numbers were so high. We'll get to it in just a second with the murder numbers. They're even worse than this. When is enough enough? When has the state failed or refuses to protect the liberties that I as a citizen have?
Today, in my opinion, today, we need to solve this as soon as possible. Anyways, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you really like this video, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And last but not least, guys, please share your opinion in the comments. I'm really curious about your opinion about this situation. It's ridiculous in my opinion. And last but not least, I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!